Vibe coding is broken, vibe coding is unreliable, and vibe coding is killing your productivity. I've seen these statements literally everywhere, and I just don't buy it. Look, vibe coding isn't perfect, and it has its flaws, obviously, but that doesn't mean it's bad. So in this video, I'm going to take some of these beliefs right here and tell you why vibe coding isn't bad at all. And blind vibe coding is the actual problem. So every time I talk to people that experienced issues with vibe coding, I keep hearing the same three things being mentioned all the time. They're trying to fix code that they don't understand, then problems have been quietly rising up in the background, and they were essentially pressured to use AI with no real process or vision. So what failed wasn't the AI, but skipping what I call the ATV: architecture, testing, and verification. Architecture is understanding the platform you're building on, what components you need, and how they connect. Testing is making sure each part does what it's supposed to do, and verification is checking that the whole thing behaves the way you intended. I mean, vibe coding just made it faster and easier to skip all of that. But there's a big difference between a quick demo and something that actually works and makes money. One of the things that you need to understand is that vibe coding doesn't replace programming. It just changes how the code is written. Programming is basically turning an idea into something that works on a computer. For example, imagine you wanted to create a custom web app that tracks your favorite books and recommends new ones. Traditionally, you'd have to plan out how it works, learn the coding needed, write all the code line by line, and then test it to make sure it does what you want. Now, with vibe coding, you still need to plan, but instead of typing all the code yourself, you give the prompts to an AI and it writes the code for you. You can focus more on the idea and the logic and get a working product much faster. That's why letting AI build without understanding the architecture is like riding in a self-driving car without knowing how to drive. Most of the time, you're fine, but the moment something unexpected happens, you have no idea how to take control, and then life is no longer a highway. Don't get me wrong. AI can create functions, generate repetitive code, and suggest solutions much faster than a human can type them. But it doesn't take responsibility for what it produces. It can't make important decisions for you, like legal or business choices. And it doesn't actually understand your specific situation. So it has no real way of knowing if the code is correct, safe, or able to handle real users. The thing is, you can and should stop using vibe coding tools the wrong way. Vibe coding actually works well in very different scenarios. From building a quick landing page just to see if an idea makes sense, to building a website for your business, or a web app you want to monetize and connect them to real tools like payments, APIs, and databases. I always say there are three levels of vibe coding. The first one is exploration. This is where you don't really know what you're building yet, and you're throwing ideas at it, trying things quickly, and building rough versions just to see what sticks. This is also where tools like Hosting or Horizons are really useful. You can describe an idea in plain language, like a landing page, a web app, or a product concept, and instantly get something clickable. It won't be ready for others to use, but it's enough to see and feel the idea. Level 2 is called acceleration. This is where the structure is clear and the direction is set, so you can stop experimenting and start executing. For example, if your exploration built a rough landing page for a workout tracking app, here you can decide on the layout, the database to store workout info, and features like recommendations and search. And then you use vibe coding to generate the code for these features. And the third stage is where you get ready to show people. You define tests, you review everything, you run CI automatically, and you verify all outputs. And your initial idea turns into a functional website or web app like these ones right here, which, by the way, was built fully using Hostinger Horizons. So again, if you don't have a structure and a process, then vibe coding is definitely bad. But to stay in control, this is what I always do. When vibe coding tools generate code for you, take a moment to read what it's doing so you can understand what each part does, even if you didn't write it. You can also ask the AI to explain why it wrote something in a certain way, which is how developers use AI to learn faster and level up their skills. And of course, ask AI to question your decisions. Things like what could break, what edge cases you missed, or what assumptions you're making. The idea is to treat vibe coding like a back and forth, where you're always thinking and checking. Vibe coding has lowered the barrier to building software more than almost anything before it. And it's not just indie builders using it, big tech companies are using it too, which means more competition, more apps, and more noise in every market. Those who make it won't be the fastest people to vibe code functional apps and websites, but the people who think in systems, because when everyone can build fast, speed stops being an advantage. The real advantage will be choosing the right problem, building the right architecture, iterating based on real feedback, and actually getting distribution. So vibe coding isn't bad, it just needs to be used in the right way. If you stick to these 3 levels I showed you and match your approach to what you're building, you'll stay in control. The key is to use AI to amplify your thinking and not replace it. So make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss that. And in the meantime, check out this vibe coding basics tutorial so you can start vibe coding with practical tips and real examples. Thanks for watching and see you there.